gold does the impossible, silver to follow. Gold prices are setting new session highs above $2,400 per ounce after U.S. consumer prices cooled more than expected in June, boosting hopes for a September rate cut from the Federal Reserve. That's according to Kitco. Now, the consumer price index, the CPI, fell 0.1% last month after May's flat 0% reading. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics said this on Thursday. This is Kitco's article. The latest inflation data was better than expected as economists were looking for a 0.1% increase. Let's make one thing clear. The CPI is different from the PPI. The CPI measures the monthly change in prices paid by U.S. consumers. It is calculated as a weighted average of prices for a basket of goods and services representative of an aggregate U.S. consumer spending. That's how Investopedia explains CPI, way better than I could explain it. The CPI report uses a different survey methodology compared to the PPI. The CPI uses price samples and index weights, while the PPI measures changes in the prices received by U.S. producers of goods and services. So, according to Kitco, the report said that in the last 12 months, headline inflation rose 3%, below expectations for a 3.1% reading, and slower than May's 3.3%. Now, the report said that annual core inflation rose 3.3% in June, also better than expectations, and the 3.4% reading from that prior month. Here's where silver and gold come into this picture. Oh, if you're enjoying this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It really helps to get this information out there. The gold market is seeing a strong bullish reaction to the better than expected inflation data. Spot gold immediately shot above $2,400 per ounce in the minutes following the CPI release. That's how this works often. And that's why, as silver stackers, we're always looking at these economic indicators, because we will see precious metals jump almost immediately. It last traded at $2,400. This is Kitco saying this. $2,400, up 1.31% on the session. Historically, when gold jumps like that, silver shortly follows. That's what we see. So this is why this is a very exciting week for us as silver bugs. Now, this is Kitco says, this is officially the first negative month-over-month inflation since May 2020. The Fed is going to love this inflation report, they say. The negative 0.1% monthly might put new wind in Team Soft Landing's sails. That's what they call it, Team Soft Landing. But remember that in mainstream economics, deflation signals economic contraction. And that is a struggle we are living through. We need our economy to expand while bringing inflation under control. It's a slippery slope. But that same slippery slope can be very good for the price of precious metals. As the economy contracts, even the slightest contraction, people feel uncertain, and that disruption makes people pull their investments from Wall Street and put their money into the safe store of wealth, this silver and gold that I'm showing you on your screen. And that's the dichotomy that we have as silver stackers and gold stackers. We want a strong economy, of course, but at the same time, it does help our stacking. Let's keep going. This article says the CPI report qualifies as more good data, but it's not all good news, they say. The muted 0.1% month-over-month increase in core CPI in June, it strengthens the case for a September rate cut, while a lot still depends on the PPI data due tomorrow. Our initial estimate is that the core PCE deflator increased by closer to 0.2% month-over-month. The upshot is that this report isn't quite as good as it looks, because check this out. Rent increased by a more muted 3.3% month-over-month. That's rent. The smallest gains in close to 3 years. That's what Kitco's telling us. Airline fares fell by 5% month-over-month, and lodging away from home prices were down 2%, indicating that the post-COVID travel boom may be over, while at the same time, new vehicle prices, they say, declined by 0.2%. That's month-over-month. And also used vehicle prices fell by 1.5% month-over-month. These are the economic indicators that tell us whether our economy is contracting or expanding. So it's not just simply we look at the CPI and we're going to skyrocket. That's typically what we see historically. But now to see such a jump after the CPI report, it gets exciting because we see that as the PPI comes out, we could see a double hit for precious metals. So Kiko sets this straight. They say not all of that is good news for the Fed's preferred PCE measure. However, they use the PPI measures of airline fares and medical care services, and they put lower weight on the housing components. Nevertheless, this is Kiko, they say with Fed officials also apparently getting a little more nervous about labor market weakness, it does strengthen the case for a September rate cut. The idea of a September rate cut felt like a distant fantasy for us. And now it's only 6 weeks away. That's it. I mean, we're really coming up on this. This summer is going to fly by. And with gold hitting 2,400, we can absolutely see it soaring higher. I'll tell you why I think it's going to soar higher in a minute. Kiko tells us while one inflation report won't make up policymakers' minds on its own, the figures add to the body of evidence pointing toward a September rate cut following last week's softer than expected June jobs report and coming after Chairman Powell's congressional testimony earlier this week, in which Powell struck a more cautious tone, noting how the economy is no longer overheated and that the jobs market is fully back in balance. Here's how we can see gold reach $2,500. The summer months always show a drop in metals prices. When the summer closes and we combine that with a September rate cut expectation, I mean, this is the recipe for a jump in gold. Many believe the rate cut will not happen. If that rate cut is pushed back to December and we get our typical boost in prices this fall, we have a situation in which gold can continue to climb to that $2,500 point as we close out 2024. And when gold climbs like that, silver is always quick to follow.